What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Chad Arms, a.k.a. Chatty Bobby. Olive 40.
And my name is Tony, a.k.a. Friday the 14th.
And this is Over the Top with Chad and Tony.
We back!
We back! That was my...
I don't know what that was.
That was my Krusty the Clown. Shout out to Krusty the Clown. Shout out to Moon Pies, too. Moon Pies have nothing to do with Krusty the Clown.
I like Moon Pies, though.
Shout out to... I like Moon Pies. You know what?
They're good every now and then.
Hey,
but I like them.
Just bought a box of some lemon Moon Pies, and let me tell you, I'm over the moon.
Really?
Yeah.
For the Moon Pie?
For the Moon Pie. I'm over the moon, meaning I'm greatly satisfied by the lemonade.
The lemonade Moon Pie.
The lemon pie. Woo. Okay, episode 5, we're back, guys. We're not canceled.
Nope.
We're in a different location.
We are. We're testing something else out here.
We're testing out a different location. It's much closer to me and Tony. We got my boy Chance from Revolution 1 Media behind the situation today.
A.K.A. The Director.
The Director, Revolution 1 Media. Also, Nixon Pro Media. Salute to y'all for letting us use the establishment. And salute to Squint 615. He's been killing it with us.
Thank you so much.
With the episodes. But we've been getting so booked and stuff with the podcast, but I got some shit to say. And this is much closer for me and Tony and much easier. So we're going to try this and see how it goes. So y'all bear with us as we're building this thing.
And we're going to be able to expand with this setup too and everything too.
For sure. We can expand from this is just the basic setup, but we're going to keep, plugging along.
Yes.
But before we get into this episode, which is our first wrestling episode.
I'm excited.
I am hyper. Hype. Take the R off.
You're always
it's
hyper.
Always best to take
You're always hyper, that's for sure.
I'm hype. We're going to be talking about our favorite WrestleMania matches today.
Yes, we are today. And I grew up a wrestling fan. My dad was a big wrestling fan growing up. We used to always go down to the fairgrounds when I was a kid to see the little Nashville shows and all that. So you'd see Lawler down there back in the days.
Yep.
My dad saw The Undertaker before he became Mark Callis. He saw Mark Callis out there before he became The Undertaker wrestling out there.
Shout out to Kent Murphy.
And then... what was the big guy? That Tojo Yamamoto?
Tojo Yamamoto. My dad's dad used to love watching wrestling, and he always talked about Tojo Yamamoto.
Yeah, and I think he was big here in the Nashville scene back in the day when the 70s, 80s, when the independent or the second. What am I thinking of? Not your main corporations and all that stuff.
Just the indie circuit.
Yeah, the indie circuit. That's territory stuff. That's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah,
that's the word.
So we're going to talk about our favorite WrestleMania matches today. This is our first wrestling episode. And what we're planning on doing with this podcast is not just making it movies.
No.
We're going to talk about wrestling. I think because a big subscriber base of this channel is wrestling fans.
Yes.
Are wrestling fans, sorry. I'm good at grammar sometimes.
And like we've always said, we said this since the first episode, the two guys that can butcher the English language the most are rolling with the podcast, and that's us.
Yeah, it's a...
so bear with us.
Bear with us.
You know what we're trying to say, we just can't get it out quick enough.
Exactly. We're going to put a bow on the last episode, Ep.5.
1981 horror.
Thoughts?
A great episode. Just like we said before, it's one of the best years ever in horror, slashers. Just a great year as a horror fan.
Yeah, and I think that we're going to start batch recording episodes, so we're recording ahead of time. But I really like the way that we did that episode. I think that we covered a good majority of the 81. No, there was some that we didn't see, but I think we at least talked about them.
And like you said, we could also down the line with that. With 1981 too, have a part 2 to that on down the line where we've watched some movies that we didn't before and talk about those as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Because we can always the gangster movies that we did on episode 1. There's enough movies there for an episode 2 of that. So
no, for sure. But I think this is going to be a fun one because WrestleMania just was this past weekend when we're filming this. This is going to be coming out about a week after this is being filmed, but. WrestleMania just came and went. I didn't even watch WrestleMania this year. I watched it last year. I don't really watch wrestling present day, but I am down to talk about classic wrestling as long as I want to talk about it.
Late 80s, early 90s, all through the 90s, in the early 2000s was my bread and butter for
sure. And see, with me...
Through the Attitude Era. And then I lost after high school, I lost interest in watching wrestling, and then once I met up with you, we started watching wrestling and stuff together, and that's when we started doing the live streams, and those did really, really well on this channel.
No, they did. When we used to watch the live streams, that was back when was the network even a thing yet?
It was right at the we all had the network then, and I think it was like maybe a couple years after the network came available. Because we had Lasagna Mania at my house that one year.
Definite Lasagna Mania, which needs to be revisited.
I think that was at WrestleMania 31, I think.
That sounds right. Which will be 2015.
When we all came over for Lasagna Mania. But yeah, I'm with you. I haven't really kept up with today's wrestling landscape. I know we have the AEW that's out there that's doing really well. And then you have, of course, the WWE, which at the filming of this episode just got sold to the company that owns the UFC.
Now they're worth, what, $21 billion?
Between the UFC and the WWE as a company together are worth over $21 billion.
So what exactly does that mean for WWE per se?
I think
from the day-to-day, is it going to
I didn't realize that the UFC is a bigger company than the WWE now.
I could see that just because it's
worldwide. Well, but the WWE is worldwide as well.
But at the end of it, UFC's real.
Yeah,
and I mean, you know what I mean.
Yeah,
like I love wrestling, but it's entertainment.
Yes. But what about? Hold on. Do you want to talk about how Vince McMahon looked in this press conference for?
Yeah, man. We're going to put a picture up here. Apparently, Vince McMahon is going to be a villain in. And I don't know if it's like some kind of like Roger Rabbit.
I don't know, Narcos.
Different Roger Rabbit like sequel.
I don't know,
or if he's going to be like a drug lord in Narcos. But I don't know what Vince is doing with that facial hair. I've watched wrestling my whole life. Vince McMahon ain't never ever had
never had facial hair. Never had any.
And that mustache choice. Oh man,
it's bad.
Yeah,
it's bad. And I didn't watch the Raw after WrestleMania, and evidently he's taken back control over it, and evidently it's not the best again. From what I've been reading and seeing, everybody since Triple H has taken back over creative, everything has been going better.
Yeah.
And I guess now McMahon is taking back over creative now that the company is sold, and we can only see where it's going from here. As much as McMahon has done for professional wrestling, it's time to let Triple H take charge of it. Triple H knows what the fans want to see. He knows he's all about long-term booking, which Chance brought this up to me when we were talking about this last WrestleMania, which I only saw a few matches from it. The main event, I wanted to see Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns. I actually thought Cody Rhodes would come out as a winner of this, but like Chance brought out to me, Triple H is doing long-term booking again, which... even when we were watching wrestling together, title runs would maybe last two or three pay-per-views. You know what I'm saying?
Towards the end, like in the
titles would,
golden era, they went.
It's like the title really didn't mean nothing because it would change hands so much.
Yeah, and they've let. I mean, as far as I know, Roman Reigns has had the belt for what, 2 years?
Yeah, it's a long. I think it's getting up there with the longest title reign in history and everything. Which is, it's good for like long-term booking, which will make. But I think if Cody wouldn't have got hurt last year, I think Cody probably would have won the belt at WrestleMania.
Was the match dope? I didn't even watch it.
Yeah, the match was really good. Cody Rhodes, of course, is a great worker. And Roman Reigns is a great worker, too. And they know how to sell. It was a great match. And it's just a surprising ending. The entrances were great. Cody's entrance was awesome. He involved his daughter at ringside. And then Brody Lee, John Hubert, I think was Brody Lee's real name. He passed away a little over a year ago, and his son was ringside with Cody Rhodes.
Oh, that's dope.
And everything. So I just, with everything leading up to it, I was for sure sold that Cody was going to win the title.
Yeah.
But like I said, I've watched like the highlights of everything from when Cody won the Royal Rumble, and just their talking back and forth and everything. And the lead up was great. Yeah. But like just long-term booking. That's what it used to be back in the day.
Yeah, that's what we're going to get into today with these WrestleMania matches. We've compiled a list. There's no like particular order. We're just going to kind of bounce some back and forth. A lot of them that he's talked about are ones that are some of my favorites too.
Oh yeah, I mean we're going to have very similar list on this as well because we grew up in the same time. We were I'm assuming fans of the same guys and all that stuff. So
Yeah.
it's going to be fun. I'm excited. You want to start off with one on your list first?
Yeah, we'll go on my list. Well, I didn't put any kind of order on them, and I was kind of going off of what ones Tony had that we're going to talk about. But some that one in particular to me that's not like a main card match from the earlier days would be from WrestleMania 8. That's when you had Bret Hart and Roddy Piper went up against each other at WrestleMania 8 for the Intercontinental title.
Okay, that's what I was about to ask.
It was like a passing of the torch kind of thing, I feel like, because that was when Bret Hart separated himself from Hart Foundation. You know, they had their tag team run for some years, and then he decided to go and do his solo thing. And I want to say Anvil did some stuff with Owen, and like High Energy or not Anvil. I'm sorry, but
just a great technical match.
Yeah, this is a dope match, man, and it was just cool to see that kind of passing of the torch type thing. Yeah, you know, at WrestleMania 8, that's also, I think WrestleMania 8's the one that had Macho Man and Flair.
Oh, okay,
I'm pretty sure. And I want to say it was Psycho or Sid Justice and Hogan.
Sid Justice,
because that was when the Royal Rumble leading up to that one, Flair won.
Yeah.
Which is the best Royal Rumble ever. 92 Royal Rumble.
It's my favorite cover from the old when we talked about VHS covers from seeing it at Blockbuster or Movie Gallery. That's my favorite Royal Rumble cover because you have Hogan and then everybody else behind him on that one.
And leading up to that, I want to say that
Sid Justice
what's that?
Am I right on that cover? No, Hogan wasn't part of that Rumble, was he?
92, I thought he was because Psycho Sid ended up pulling him out, and that's what their
was. Okay, yeah.
I'm pretty sure, because Hogan had won it in 90 and 91.
Okay, yeah.
And then Flair came in at he was one of the first entries, and it went the whole. Yeah. That's the one that had Bobby the Brain on commentary, and it was so
GOAT,
great, bro.
GOAT.
He's the GOAT. But that's the first one that I wanted to kind of show some light on because you don't really hear. There's not. Unfortunately, R.I.P. Roddy Piper, but there's not a lot of Roddy Piper matches that you can say
that stand out.
So, I love the character, but for the most part, it was more
Piper's Pit
type stuff. But this match was really dope to me, man.
Yeah.
Of course, you had Bret going over in that one.
Yeah, just the technical, because Bret Hart is probably him and Shawn Michaels are probably my favorite technical wrestlers ever to come out.
For sure.
Just the work that they could put in and they made it look effortless. What they did.
And the way that Piper was able to work with Bret, because Piper wasn't a technical wrestler.
No, he was just like a brawler. Yeah.
The only other match that I could say with Piper would be the one with him and Goldust when they had like the street brawl.
Yeah.
And they beat the living fuck out of each other.
It was almost like a remake of They Live.
Yes, it was. That was when they used the whole spot with OJ. And shit. That's the only other WrestleMania Piper stuff that I could think off the top of my head. But Piper and Bret Hart I thought was a really cool.
Oh, it's a great one.
Yeah.
Probably the first WrestleMania match that I can remember was probably WrestleMania 6 with Hogan versus Ultimate Warrior, with Hogan being the champ and Warrior coming in as the Intercontinental champ.
Yep.
Which was cool about Ultimate Warrior is I think he was probably one of the first guys that had the custom belts.
No, with the green. Was it the green strap?
I think he had the orange. He had the orange strap for that, but he did have the green and the white. He's the first one I remember having like a customized belt when he became a champion or something.
Yeah.
But just to build up to that, I mean, both of those guys with their promos. I mean, you could hardly understand what they were saying, but it was just, especially Warrior. Every vein in his body is about to pop out. With his promos.
Oh, yeah, dude.
But just the entrances, of course, Warrior's entrance is iconic with him just dead sprinting to the ring and going crazy. But what stood out to me is one of my favorite entrances of all time is Hogan's entrance. Coming out as the champ. Where was that one at? That was in Toronto.
It was Toronto.
At the Pontiac Silverdome. It was a huge crowd and just...
Edge. I remember Edge talking about Edge was in the crowd watching because he was from Canada. I want to say... He talks about being in the crowd like as a kid.
Oh, I can imagine being as a kid being in the crowd for that, especially because I was a Warrior and a Hogan fan. Hogan was my number one as a kid, but I was a huge Warrior fan. That's the first time I can remember two baby faces going at it for the title.
Yeah.
The match, not great at all.
Test of strength for 40 minutes?
Yeah, it was not a
really
great
bad.
match.
But as a kid, you didn't think about any of that shit.
No.
You just loved the character.
It was Warrior and Hogan in the ring together going at it. I mean, like I said, technical-wise, horrible.
Yeah.
The way it finishes is Hogan misses the leg boot, and then Warrior does the splash, and we're done.
Mm-hmm.
But
I was so mad because I'm such a Hogan fan, and we talked about it in one of the other episodes when I wrote in that card because in '90s when the Earthquake did all that, and then he came back and they fought, and this was around that time. Actually, this was after he lost the belt to Warrior.
Yeah.
In March or April of '90 is when he went into the feud with.
Yeah.
Because that was SummerSlam.
Because he was taking a break.
He was taking a break. Yep. Okay.
And everything. So that's the first time. And you never saw Hogan. Hogan never put anybody over.
Never.
And he put over Warrior there because of course he knew he was taking a break going down the line, but he even gives Warrior his flowers, and after the match he brings the belt to Warrior, gives him the belt, and then lets Warrior have his moment and all that stuff. So
wasn't that when he wanted to go take a break to go film that TV show?
It was the Thunder in Paradise.
Yeah, was that time?
Probably, yeah.
That sound again.
Was it 93 or 94 when he went to WCW? Correct.
Yeah, 94.
Yeah. So it was probably that right there in Thunder in Paradise.
He wanted to take some time to do something. I remember that, but that match was epic at the time. Like going back and looking at it, like as an adult, I remember as a kid thinking it was awesome, but like as an adult, it just doesn't hit the same. Really.
No, it's the nostalgia.
But it's definitely got to be talked about.
Yeah, it's the same with the next year with WrestleMania 7. You have Hogan coming back. And then Sergeant Slaughter's the champ at the time. Mm-hmm. And it's Sergeant Slaughter. It's during the Gulf War. The Gulf War is going on. Sergeant Slaughter's being the Iraqi the Iraqi character and all that. And then Hogan is all about everything America. That entrance is great too when he's wearing the American flag bandana. He comes out to the ring with the American flag. Mm-hmm. He gets busted open in that match.
Yep.
But that match is so much better than the Warrior Hogan match because that's one of the matches that you actually see Hogan working in.
Yeah.
And everything. So that 7 stands out. With 6, the nostalgia factor. 7 is by far the better match.
Yeah, and if y'all see me on my phone this episode, I'm on Wikipedia like researching stuff about the matches.
Yeah,
I don't want y'all to think I'm just on my phone.
No,
but like I'm looking up WrestleMania 7 for a second because I'm trying to see what else was on there.
Yeah, and then of course you had Hogan come out as the champ with that one, and the crowd goes nuts. The one thing I did notice watching back on, he wipes his face with the American flag and gets blood all over the American flag in that one. It's kind of what are you doing there, bud?
You got to remember too. I keep leaning back. Sorry, Chance. So leading up to that Mania, Royal Rumble '91 is when you had the match with. I want to say, you had the match with Warrior and Slaughter for the title.
Yes, yeah.
That's when Macho Man come out with that scepter and hit him over the head.
Yep. Yes.
And he won the belt from Warrior, and everybody just lost their shit.
Yes. Yeah.
Because that was when the whole the Desert Storm was going on, and he was just straight up like disrespecting the shit out of
everybody
of America and the flag and stuff.
Yeah, and which was good booking at that time. They put that story with what the times is going on, and of course you're going to get reactions like they did out of it.
And see, too, that led into that match with Warrior and Macho Man. It was a retirement match at WrestleMania 7.
Yep.
You know what I mean? The same one you were just talking about with Slaughter and Hogan. So WrestleMania 7 was 5, 6, and 7 to me were just so dope.
And that was right there in our golden area as kids, and it's just...
And granted, like, the first two WrestleManias to me, they're so hard to watch.
Yeah, it's
go back and watch them. And even 3, obviously we're going to get into the Steamboat Macho Man.
Yeah, that's...
And Hogan Andre, when Hogan slammed Andre, of course, that's an epic moment.
Yeah,
but like
the match is not good.
The matches themselves were kind of...
The best match on that card was Steamboat and Macho
Man, of course, which is touted as one of the greatest wrestling matches ever.
Yes.
And it's really dope, but like...
It was an honorable mention on my list there. It's a great match, great Intercontinental title match. Yeah. One of the best Intercontinental title matches ever.
Yeah.
But it's... I went back and watched that match again, and it's a slower paced one because Steamboat. He was limited on everything. The look of Steamboat was awesome back in the day because you immediately thought Bruce Lee as a kid.
No,
so,
for sure.
but yeah, that would be an honorable mention on my list.
Yeah. So so here's one for me: WrestleMania 10, Owen and Brett.
That's a great one.
Great match, man.
Great match. Another technical show,
and that's when Owen arrived.
Yes,
at that one.
that
was
put Owen
94. So that was like. They were coming off the WrestleMania 9, which was done at Trump Plaza, the weird one.
Yeah.
That had like the ending with Yokozuna and Hogan and all that weird stuff.
Yeah, Hart Brett lost the title to Yokozuna, and then Hogan steps in and immediately wins the title off of a big boot, and all of a sudden Yokozuna's down.
Yeah. But that's, I think, when, Taker fought with Giant Gonzalez or somebody. It was crazy.
Sorry about that.
But, yeah, WrestleMania 10, I thought Owen and Brett's match was so dope.
Yes.
And obviously WrestleMania 10 was epic in the sense of that with you had Razor and Shawn Michaels ladder match, which is one of the greatest ladder matches ever.
I mean, that was the show stealer of that WrestleMania, in my opinion, was that Michaels Razor match. Which you had both of them had the IC title coming into it.
Yep.
And this was for the Unified or Soul Championship. And just the show that they put on, just epic.
And you know what's crazy about that match with Owen and Brett? It was the second match on the card.
What was the first match on the card that night?
Oh, the Heavenly Bodies, Tom Pritchard and Jimmy Del Rey defeated the Bushwhackers. R.I.P. to Butch. Was it Butch?
Yeah,
right?
I believe so.
R.I.P. to you, Bubba.
One of the Bushwhackers.
Yeah, man. But that at WrestleMania 10, you had Brett and Yoko for the title, and you had Piper as the referee in that one. But you had Razor and Shawn in the ladder match for the IC belt. And what's crazy is that match was 18 minutes, bro.
That's crazy.
And now, that would be a short-ass match.
Yeah, and just what they were able to, and it was for a big man like Is Razor or Scott Hall to you probably one of the best wrestlers never to win a world title?
He is the best wrestler to never
win a world title.
R.I.P. Scott Hall.
The same. Well, no, Dusty won. He won the. He won the world title.
In NWA. And
he won the NWA title. But yeah, I agree with you. Scott Hall he was the one of the top Intercontinental champions or U.S. champion WCW. Would that be the same significance when the U.S. Championship to the Intercontinental?
Yeah.
But yeah, Scott Hall by far is probably the best wrestler to never win a world title, which he should have at least one run. Thank you, director. Another one too, Mr. Perfect. Chance just.
Oh, no, for sure, perfect too. But I feel
Kurt Hennig was just a technical. Him and Bret Hart had some masterful matches.
Mr. Perfect's one of the goats too. Like, I would say Razor or Scott Hall just because, unfortunately, he was, Mr. Perfect passed away at the height of his, not the height, but like he still had several years left in him.
Yeah, and I
same with Ravishing Rick Rude.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
He's another one that didn't win the title. That was.
Yep. And Jake the Snake as well.
He
never won a world title either.
And But yeah, WrestleMania 10, bro. I thought Owen and Brett was a super dope, And then you had Macho Man and Crush had that like all-out brawl, which was kind of entertaining.
Yes, I forgot about that one.
Yeah, that was so 95 and 96, 11 and 12 were rough because that was when they had the whole ordeal with the talent was going over to WCW. And they didn't have no money. It was after the steroid trial and all that. So 94, 95, 96 is when WWE was starting to kind of trying to figure itself out.
Well, their one saving grace in that time period was WrestleMania 12 when you had the Iron Man match between Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart.
Oh, for sure.
That was a saving point for it because that match is probably one of the best matches in wrestling history.
No, for sure. Sure.
One of the best entrances ever in WrestleMania history, too, is Michael's coming from the rafters.
No, absolutely. And like what's crazy too is like on those Iron Man matches, man, almost every time you watched an Iron Man match in WWE or WWF, it was going in sudden death.
Oh yeah.
It was 0-0 winning to sudden death. They put on a show for 60 minutes.
Crazy.
And then had to go into sudden death, and of course Shawn.
Those were the only two guys that could have done that at that point.
At that point, yeah, for sure.
For the WWE.
Honestly, at that time, if you look at Matter of fact, let's look it up. You look at WrestleMania 12, bro. You look at the talent on WrestleMania 12.
Let's hear
They
it.
had to do that, bro.
Yeah. Yeah, to take up time.
They had to. Yeah, they had to. They had to. Because you had the Body Donnas and the Godwins in match 1. You had the Huckster fought Nacho Man to a no contest.
Oh, wow. The Huckster.
You had the British Bulldog, Owen Hart and Vader against Ahmed Johnson, Jake the Snake, and Yokozuna in a 6-man tag.
Oh, my gosh.
Piper and Goldust in the backlot brawl.
Okay,
That was fire.
Yeah.
But you had Stone Cold and Savio Vega. That was before Stone Cold. That was at the beginning. It was before King of the Ring, whenever Stone Cold was.
Yeah, because the next year is when Stone Cold took off to the moon.
Then they had the match where Ultimate Warrior buried Triple H in a minute and a half.
Yeah, which made no sense.
You had Taker and Diesel, which was just okay, and then you had the Shawn. And
as good as Kevin Nash was, he was not the greatest of worker.
No, I love Nash though. He's my favorite, big man.
Yeah, oh yeah.
But yeah, unfortunately.
Shout out poor Taylor back in the day. He got power bombed so much as a kid. Dude, he was poor Taylor. Me and my brother are 8 years apart, and unfortunately for him and all my friends and growing up, we were all wrestling fans, and poor Taylor was our wrestling move test dummy.
Yeah,
he got every move tried out, and he's poor kid. Poor kid.
Shout out Taylor.
Yeah, poor guy.
But yeah, WrestleMania 12, that match, of course. I'm going to skip ahead to WrestleMania 19, which I feel like WrestleMania 19, match for match, is one of the best. It's in the top. I would say it's in the top 3 my favorite WrestleManias put together. Because the amount of talent because this was in 2003.
Yeah.
And this is when you had WWE had absorbed WCW. They had absorbed ECW.
Oh yeah, they were just loaded. They were just loaded.
They had so much talent. This is when they had the SmackDown, the Raw. They had all that. But the match I'm talking about is Brock Lesnar and Kurt Angle. Title match, right?
Was that Brock's first title win?
2003, I would say so. Because Angle was the champion going in, and the stipulation in that one is if Angle got counted out, DQ'd, or had anyone interfere, Brock would still
win the title.
Because I'm thinking leading up to that, Angle was trying to sissy his way out of
I got you. Now was Paul Heyman with Brock at that point too? Or is that? Or I don't think he was with. Has he been with Brock since the beginning? I can't remember. I wouldn't know because I didn't watch back then.
I think he has, but that match was crazy because that's the whole spot. Well, for one, the match was fire, and Brock was in. I mean, he was 2 years into the WWE, a year in, and that's when he tried to do the shooting star press and landed on his head, and it looked like he broke his fucking neck. Man, it was crazy. And then he finished the match, and he hit 3 F5s on Angle. That's how he beat him with F5.
Is he probably one of the most athletic big men?
I think he's the most athletic big man. I mean, who would be more athletic than Brock Lesnar?
It's insane. But I will tell you,
agility-wise.
Yeah, agility.
Power, agility. Like, Braun Strowman is amazing.
Oh, yeah.
But
he's not as
athletic. No, Brock Lesnar could stand flat-footed and jump on this table from the floor.
Yeah, it's unreal how
you know what I mean?
Athletic and how big he is.
Yeah.
And, I watched, going back to this newest WrestleMania, I did watch he had the first match of night 2 with some new guy. His name's Osmos or something like that.
Yeah, I heard. What was that? Did he put him over?
No, Brock won the match, but I've never seen Brock as a little man. This Osmos guy towers.
Oh, I don't even know who that is. I have to check that out.
I think he's supposedly 6'9". He may be over 7 foot.
Mm-hmm.
But he was legit, and Brock's a huge human being.
Yeah.
He's 6'5", and this guy is towering over top of Brock Lesnar.
Yeah.
Looking
crazy.
down on Brock Lesnar.
Yeah.
That's unheard of.
Yeah, I'll have to look at that. But WrestleMania 19, Lesnar and Angle, despite Brock almost fucking
killing himself.
That match was crazy. You also had the Jericho and Shawn Michaels match, which was crazy. That match. You had the third WrestleMania match between Stone Cold and The Rock. Definitely not their best one. We'll talk about their best one here in a minute, I'm sure. But that was on the card. You had McMahon and Hulk Hogan.
Okay.
So that WrestleMania to me, other than WrestleMania 17, I feel like WrestleMania 17 and 19 are two of the best ones.
Oh, yeah. 17 is probably one of the best WrestleManias.
Yeah.
That could be compared with this one.
Yeah.
Well, hell, do you want to just talk about, since we're talking about WrestleMania 17, you want to just jump into that one with the Stone Cold and The Rock match in that one?
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
Then also you had the second TLC match from the Dudleys, Edge and Christian, and the Hardy Boys, which was...
That's the one, because I get them mixed up because they did a few of them. That's the one when Edge speared Jeff Hardy off.
Yeah. The first one
Would you think it's one of the craziest spots in WWE history?
It's you haven't seen anybody try to replicate it. Well, you see
Mick Foley fall off the cage.
Yeah, that's up there.
Or the cell.
Well, and falling through both times of the cell because he got thrown off the top and then legit fell through the cell twice, didn't he? Yeah. Because I think he fell through with the Undertaker and then he fell through again with Triple H, correct? And that's when
that was a different match. But he definitely.
And then, that's that spot. And then in the first one that they had, you had Jeff Hardy do the swanton off that huge ladder onto the table. But we're talking about 17. But you want to talk about the Austin, or do you want to talk about the TLC match first? Because they're both from that pay-per-view.
We can talk about the TLC match first. First of all, those three tag teams were fucking amazing.
They worked the best together.
Man,
and just
Dudley Boys, Edge and Christian, and the Hardy Boys. There's no better those. They had 3 or 4 of them. I remember they had another one for
one was at SummerSlam.
Yeah, wasn't one of them for Trish Stratus Invitational something? To be her man.
Yeah, I'm not sure what, but I remember a SummerSlam TLC because we were hoping you'd just get one of these TLCs every pay-per-view after seeing it because they had no self-awareness for their own body in those matches. They were just putting it all on the line.
Oh, for sure.
For entertainment, and they entertained the hell out of us with that match. Who was the match after that one?
After
the triple threat TLC match.
The gimmick battle royal.
Which
they needed to do.
I would have hated to be the match after that.
Which Iron Sheik won. Hulk Hogan, you piece of shit.
One of the best follows on Twitter.
Oh my god!
If you don't follow the Iron Sheik, please
he puts
do
an S on everything. Nothing's plural. Everything's plural, but it's not supposed.
And there's at least one daily shot at Hulk Hogan.
Oh, dude!
On the daily.
Dude, it's great.
But okay, so you go from that one, and then you had the main event of that one was The Rock and Stone Cold.
So after the gimmick battle royal, you had Taker, Triple H, which was solid. It was the first of their several WrestleManias. And then you had Stone Cold and The Rock. Yeah, that's the one that had the Limp Bizkit My Way promo.
Oh yeah, the build up to that one. But
bro.
The one it did. Were you a big Stone Cold fan of that day?
Oh yeah.
Did it break it? Ain't that the one where he joined up with McMahon after?
Yeah, which was so lame.
Oh,
was it that one or was it It was that one.
It was that one, right? Yeah. Where he hits The Rock with the chair. McMahon gives him the chair, and he joins.
2001, Stone Cold tried to be heel, and it just didn't work at all.
And he still got cheered after that match.
Yeah.
The crowd still pops huge.
Yeah.
For him, that's the Stone Cold pop. There's hardly anybody that could get a pop like Stone Cold did back in the Attitude Era.
I mean, The Rock's was Stone Cold's was unmatched though.
But still, I'd still put Stone Cold's pop over The Rock's pop.
No, for sure. Yeah. Well, because The Rock, in 2002 when The Rock decided to leave and go start doing movies, he was getting booed when he was coming. If you watch the SummerSlam 02 with him and Lesnar, they booed the shit out of The Rock.
Yeah.
Just like they did which we can talk about, WrestleMania 18.
Yeah.
The Rock and Hogan.
Yeah.
You saw what that was like. You saw what they were doing. You saw how the crowd. I have never seen a crowd more involved in a wrestling match than that match right there.
It's insane, but it's what they call it, the icon versus icon match.
Yeah, man. Rightfully so.
No, never in a million years would you ever think that you'd see Hogan versus The Rock in a match.
Never, bro. But that match was crazy, especially because Hogan at the time, it was in
Backs and bad shape.
Well, that and it was NWO, but they weren't like Hall ended up. He wrestled Stone Cold, and it was a mediocre match.
Yeah, terrible.
Nash ended up wrestling. Who did Nash wrestle that pay per view?
I remember who Nash was in with that one, but I remember the Hall and the Stone Cold match being very sloppy.
Oh, that's right. Stone Cold defeated Scott Hall, and Nash was just in the corner of.
And that match was super sloppy.
It was slooper
sloppy.
It was slooper sloppy. Yeah, but the craziest thing about the Rock and Hogan match is that it was only 16 minutes long, bro.
That's crazy.
And it felt like an hour.
Yeah.
And I mean,
it was just the build up to it.
Yeah, the build up to it. But like, what was crazy is that should have been the final match on the card.
What was the?
Well, because after that, they had a women's match, Trish and Jazz. But then Triple H and Chris Jericho fought for the undisputed title. That was the main event. But
it was already dead.
Everything was deflated after that match. Because that was back when they were still doing, well, the title match needs to be the last match on the card.
Yeah.
When obviously that wasn't the main event, bro. Because Jericho even talks about it in some DVD or something about, y'all going to make us follow that?
Now, are you a Jericho? I think Jericho was super underrated.
I think he was definitely underrated. I like him a lot. I appreciate him a lot more now.
Yeah.
Back then, I just kind of was like, whatever. But like now, going back and watching Jericho, he was.
It's kind of like a Ric Flair thing to me. I wasn't never a Ric Flair fan growing up, but as I got older, watching stuff on him, you get more of appreciation for him.
Yeah.
And same with Dusty Rhodes too. We brought up before the episode, me and Chance were talking, and his first memories of Dusty Rhodes was Polka Dot Dusty Rhodes.
Man.
And what was the chick that he had with him?
Sapphire.
Yeah, Sapphire.
Sapphire.
And it was kind of like the WWF was kind of throwing a joke at Dusty Rhodes there because, well, when we saw him then, we didn't realize, well, why is this guy out here in polka dots? But
well, no, and two, like the other jokes on the polka dots with Dusty Rhodes, and then on top of that, the $1 Million Man's manager was named Virgil. Virgil is Dusty Rhodes' name, Virgil Runnels.
Yeah.
So that was kind of like they thought was a dig at Dusty Rhodes.
Yeah.
So like, but Dusty Rhodes said, I mean, he was getting paid, bro.
Yeah.
That's why Dusty Rhodes is one of the goats to me, dog.
Getting paid.
He's one of the goats to me for sure. But WrestleMania 18 was dope, man.
We'll throw it back to what about WrestleMania 13 with Bret Hart versus Stone Cold in the submission match?
Oh man, that's when you had the double turn.
That's what set Stone Cold on a skyrocket to stardom. Because it was kind of just like the Icon versus Icon match.
Yeah.
Right in the middle of that match, everything turns, and you had Ken Shamrock was the referee of that match, and that's when you get your heel run from Bret Hart out of that.
Yeah.
You get then, like I said, you get the whole Stone Cold era starts from there.
Yeah, and see, like, just to kind of, so WrestleMania 13 was 97, right? Mm-hmm. 6 months prior to that match is when Stone Cold won King of the Ring 96.
Yeah, and the whole
and
Austin 316.
that's when all that started. So you had that build up, but then you had when Stone Cold's in that sharpshooter, bro, and he's bleeding all.
Oh yeah.
I mean, everybody
knows
pictures. We'll throw pictures up, of course.
Everybody knows that picture. It's iconic and just
are interesting.
But and then passes out.
Yeah.
And that's how I mean it built up Stone Cold. He lost, but it still built him up.
No, for sure, it definitely did.
But like I said, that's what skyrockets into the next year, WrestleMania 14. That's when you get Shawn Michaels versus Stone Cold with Mike Tyson as the referee.
Yeah, and what sucked about that match was that match could have been one of the best WrestleMania matches ever.
Yes.
But Shawn Michaels' back was jacked. That's when he had a match, I want to say, against Taker at the Rumble.
Is that when he landed on the announce
yes,
table?
Yes, that's when he landed all weird. And then ever since, like, he was not anywhere close to 100% in that match. But the match, still made it work.
He still worked.
It still was great. Like Mike Tyson, you didn't know what he was if he was gonna be fair.
He was going to be a DX. The whole thing, and probably one of the quickest 3 counts ever.
Oh, of all time. Who's going to tell him? Who's going to tell him?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
But that pop when Stone Cold wins the belt right there for the first time, that pop. Yeah. Other than the Monday Night Raw when he comes and saves Mick Foley or Mankind. Mm-hmm. Other than that's probably the 2 loudest pops ever. Yeah,
Stone Cold was running. I mean, he was running shit back there because that's March or April of '98. That's in the heart of that. Like that's right at a year from the Mania we just talked about when he went all the way over.
Yeah, you couldn't go anywhere without seeing an Austin 316 shirt.
Yeah, and then like the momentum that he carried into the rest of '98, '99, and then even some of 2000.
Yeah,
I know 2000 he kind of separated for a little bit, but. That run of Stone Cold is never going to be duplicated.
Oh, it's unheard. It didn't mean like when we said he was even as a heel, he was getting cheered.
No, for sure. And then like so, we're talking about those, and then So I'm going to skip around a little bit. We'll jump to WrestleMania 20, right?
Okay.
There was 2 matches on WrestleMania 20 that I wanted to touch on that I think are some of the best ones. You had the triple threat match for the World Heavyweight title. You had Benoit, Triple H, and Shawn Michaels.
All 3 of them got busted open for that.
Crazy. That's when, of course, Benoit, obviously we don't condone anything Benoit did, but you can't omit the fact that this is one of the greatest wrestling matches there ever was.
And you can't omit, we're just talking about wrestling. We're not talking about the personal life.
Fuck him as a person. Like, he's a piece of shit person for what he did.
For what he did. He's the ultimate scumbag for what he did. But as a professional wrestler, he's one of the best there strap-on boots.
Yeah, and the emotion of that night in general, because not only did he win the World Heavyweight title, but then that same night, 2 matches prior is when Guerrero beat Angle
to win the
WWE title, and they're like best friends. They've been working their asses off all these years.
Yep.
The emotion and all that was there, but Benoit submitted. He won by submission in the triple threat.
With the crippler crossface.
But dude, WrestleMania 20 was epic, bro. That's when Cena first started. Let's just talk about this for just a sidebar real quick.
Go ahead.
Think about all the talent that came in right at 2002. You had Brock Lesnar, John Cena, Randy Orton, Dave Batista.
It's insane.
That's just 4 of them. But these all were guys that came up at the same time.
Was that Ohio Valley Wrestling?
Yeah.
With Cornette?
Yeah. With Cornette, yeah. But, like, think about that, bro.
That's insane.
Think about the longevity and the money that they made WWE in that 20-year, and they all came out of the same class.
Well, Cena's still making money for the WWE. In 2023,
he looks
Cena,
just like Jim Varney, RP Jim Varney.
Cena is still making money for him. And, I mean, did you see his entrance for WrestleMania this year?
I haven't seen anything from him.
You know how he's like the ultimate Make-A-Wish Foundation guy? He had, I forget the number of kids, but he had, the whole stage was full of Make-A-Wish kids for his entrance. And
Damn, Cena pulling on a heartstring, ain't you?
Yeah,
and then I heard they buried him, too. They just buried him in the match?
Well, I think Cena's done.
Yeah.
I think he's done. I think this was his last match, and he was putting over that Austin Theory, because that Austin Theory kid is pretty much Cena 20 years ago.
Okay.
This Austin Theory kid is probably the future of the WWE. He's got the look. He can talk. He'll probably be a great heel. Start off as he is a heel right now.
Yeah.
And then here in a couple years, he'll turn into a baby face, and then he'll make bukus of money for the WWE. But I think Cena did put him over as like a kind of passing of the guard thing in a way with this WrestleMania. I don't think they buried him. I think it was Cena just putting him over.
Yeah. Well,
and Cena's done.
No, for sure. He's a movie star now, bro.
Yeah.
And he's got
I think he's a better actor than The Rock too.
I co-sign that. Okay. I do too. And I actually want to see that new movie that's coming out with him and Zac Efron and Andrew Santino. It looks funny.
Yeah. Blockers was great with John.
Blockers was funny, bro. Blockers was funny. We could talk about before we get into the Shawn Michaels Undertaker Triple H sagas.
Yeah.
That are some of the best matches. You want to talk about Shawn and Rick?
Oh, just the
WrestleMania 24, 2008.
Yeah. I mean, just.
If only Ric Flair would have let that be his last match. He did 65. He's still doing last matches.
Yeah.
And Ric Flair, I love you. You're my favorite wrestler ever.
That was a perfect send-off.
But, bro, oh, man.
The emotion in that match was just everything. And Flair could still work in that match. He did the Flair drop perfectly in that one. He got busted open.
The story that was told in that match, especially whenever he's like standing up crying, and it pans to Shawn Michaels, he's like, Rick, I'm sorry, and he super kicks him to fucking Timbuktu.
Yeah, and he tells him he loves him.
Yeah, it's so dope, bro. Shawn Michaels is, I say Ric Flair's my favorite wrestler, but like, I almost put Shawn Michaels as my number one favorite wrestler just because of Ric Flair. If he just kept going after that, he went to TNA. Shawn Michaels didn't do none of that, bro.
No.
Shawn Michaels got in and he came in and did a little stuff here and there.
But he'd get in a few gimmick matches here and there, and then he was only good for one or two. After he retired, he was good for maybe a match or two a year.
Yeah, and like if you go. WWE put out a Blu-ray called Shawn Michaels Mr. WrestleMania.
Yeah,
and
he is.
They put and it's such a dope set, but they left off the WrestleMania 20 match.
Yeah,
because of Benoit, which is lame. But you can sit here and honestly say, of course, Taker had the streak, right? Mm-hmm. But I think Shawn Michaels has the best the most dope WrestleMania matches.
I agree. Yeah.
Over Taker.
Oh, yeah.
And Taker had the streak, but I think that Shawn Michaels, if you set them on paper, and then if you set them down and watched them, I think Shawn Michaels' matches at Mania were better than the one
Yeah, I'll agree.
And he's got less than Taker's probably got twice as many.
Well, no, even I bet even with the Rockers days.
Yeah, I'm just saying when Shawn stopped and Undertaker ended.
You.
When was his last one? Like last year or the year before?
Who knows?
You know what I'm saying? But he kept going.
Yeah.
And Shawn's head of NXT now? Or creative?
He's working. He's big creative, and he's a big influence on Logan Paul right now. That's like Logan Paul's go-to and everything.
I get that because that's the kind of vibes I get when I see Logan wrestle.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to get everybody to destroy me in the comments. I'm saying his style of wrestling is, you could tell he's like a Shawn Michaels fan.
Oh yeah, and I'll go ahead and say, I'll admit it. Every match that I've watched from Logan Paul has been a great match.
No, I've watched 2 from him. I need to watch this new Mania one. But the one that he did last year was incredible.
Yeah.
Same with Pat McAfee, bro. Where is that coming from?
Logan Paul has said, I'm not a Logan Paul fan as a person. I'm not a fan of him at all. But it comes back to the in-ring stuff. You got to give him credit where credit's due. I mean, the dude he's taking it serious.
Yeah.
Of course, he's not going to be out there every Monday Night Raw, every SmackDown, and all that stuff. He's going to be in big matches because he's a big name.
Yeah.
But he's taking this serious, and he's putting on a show, and he's entertaining people.
Yeah, and I can't knock it at all.
No.
So we can get into these 3. WrestleMania 25, you got the first Undertaker-Shawn Michaels match.
Yep.
Those 2 matches them guys had, Shawn Michaels and Taker at 25 and 26. I can't even say which one I like better.
I like the second one better. The career versus the street match.
You like that one better?
Yeah, I like that one as a whole better. Both matches are great, but just the stipulations with the career versus the streak.
Yeah,
and you had Shawn Michaels come back. He's got the whole holy entrance and all that stuff versus the Undertaker, and just the pacing of that match is great because you have Undertaker when Shawn Michaels and Undertaker are together. Shawn Michaels brings out the best of everybody that he gets
of course.
in the ring with.
Yeah, for sure.
And for a guy like the Undertaker that's 6'10" to be pulling off moves.
Oh, bro.
Because he trusts Shawn Michaels. You can only pull off those kind of moves with people you trust, especially because he almost breaks his freaking neck in that match.
I was going to say that the swanton that he does, he almost lands on his head.
He legit almost lands on his head, and I don't think Taker's going to do that with anybody other than Shawn Michaels because he knows he's going to protect him in the best way he can.
And those 2 matches were great. And then the 2 matches that Taker had the years after that with Triple H were great.
Great one. One of them was a Hell in a Cell.
Yeah, and then one of them, Shawn was the referee.
Yeah.
So like that match, I want to say that wasn't the one.
Yeah, WrestleMania 28 was Undertaker versus Triple H in a Hell in a Cell.
Was that the one that Shawn was the referee in?
It may have been.
Okay.
I'm not 100% sure, but it could have been. But yeah, that Undertaker and Triple H always put on great matches together. When Taker got in there with somebody that can work, Taker put on great matches.
No, for sure.
Somebody like when he was going up against the great Khalid and.
Well, yeah, some of those he can't. What can he do?
Yeah,
you know what I mean. At that point, it's
for a guy like the Undertaker to be able to walk the ropes like he does shows the kind of athleticism as a big man the Undertaker has. But when you're going against the Giant Gonzalez, you can only do so much.
Yeah. So the one okay. So at 28, the Hell in a Cell match was the one that Shawn Michaels was the guest ref at. So yeah, you was right on that one. Let's see if there's any more we can talk about.
Well, I got WrestleMania 30. You have the triple threat match with Daniel Bryan versus Randy Orton and Batista.
That was the whole yes.
That was the yes movement days, and
man,
you haven't seen a crowd reaction like that since Austin, I think, with the movement Daniel Bryan had.
Yeah, 2014, bro. That was special. Like that. I remember pulling for Daniel Bryan so tough at that time. And when he actually won, I was like, "Holy shit!"
Well, see, in that WrestleMania, he was the first. The first match of the night was him versus Triple H, and he had to win that match to get to the triple threat match.
Yeah, I remember.
And
that.
messed up his shoulder in that match and everything.
Yeah.
And then comes back for the triple threat match, and you talk about a pop when he won the title. And then, of course, that's the same WrestleMania where the Undertaker gets beat by Lesnar.
Yeah. No, for sure. And you know what? And what's crazy too, and it sucked because we all witnessed it. But the push was for Daniel Bryan so hard.
Oh yeah,
to Mania. He wins the title, and then it just kind of.
Well, he got hurt because he got hurt.
He got hurt.
Yeah, he
but
was
like
hurt.
it was the whole build to that, and the whole sell of it was you can't do this, you can't sell tickets, and then he finally wins, and then he gets legit hurt.
Yeah,
and then it's oh man.
Yeah, but just the whole yes movement was
No, that was crazy.
to see a whole entire arena doing the same motions that the wrestler is doing.
Yeah,
not many people can pull that off.
no, not at all. And what's crazy? This is just crazy how that was almost 10 years ago.
That's insane to think about.
2014, WrestleMania 30, because next year's WrestleMania 40. That is
crazy.
insane, bro. That's 10 years that's been.
Dude, I can't wait till this new stadium gets built here in Nashville because the WWE has already said as soon as this stadium's built, we're getting a WrestleMania. And that's happening.
Yeah.
That's happening, boys. We're getting tickets. You hear me? Chance back there?
For sure.
Nod your head if you agree. He nods his head.
So I saw where you listed one. I think the one we haven't talked about that you've listed is Brawl for All.
The finals of the Brawl for All.
What a clusterfuck the Brawl for All was.
Well, you got Dr. Death Steve Williams that it ended his career.
Yeah. Because they thought, and again, I'm a big fan.
And it pretty much ended Bart Gunn's career.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Dark Side of the Ring. I've got all of them on YouTube. I have
one of the best series to ever come out about wrestling.
The episode that one is so good. And I've heard Bruce Pritchard talk about it on his podcast. I've heard multiple people talk about it, about how much of a shit show it was. Jim Ross has talked about it.
Yep.
And the whole thing about that was they thought that Dr. Death was just going to run the gauntlet.
Yeah,
and Bart Gunn is this fucking he's from Texas. He's a Southern dude. They had Bradshaw in there, and they said that
he fucked Bradshaw up.
Vince Russo said because he was the brainchild behind that.
Of course, Vince.
He said the whole reason he even wanted to do that is because he heard Bradshaw. He was tired of Bradshaw running his mouth that he could whoop everybody's ass, and it was the worst idea ever, bro. Because it was real, and it would everybody got hurt. Everybody. And
it ended the career of two guys.
Yeah, for sure. And then Bart Gunn won, and then they're like, let's get Butterbean.
Yeah.
And Butterbean is a real boxer and fucking obliterated.
Killed him.
After that,
it was just Bart. You never saw Bart Gunn again.
No, man. But this was fun, bro.
And we talked about the WrestleMania 3, the Hogan versus Andre. The only thing that was great about that was just Hogan winning the body slam.
The slam, yeah.
You remember the entrances back for that WrestleMania when they came down the aisleway in the little rings?
Oh yeah,
the carts and all that stuff.
So funny.
What about was it WrestleMania 9? They came out and carried Roman carriages and all that stuff.
Yeah, because it was like the whole. It
was in Vegas at the Trump Plaza.
It was at Trump Plaza, yeah. It was such a small.
It was a small venue for WrestleMania.
And again, this is just a little handful. There's a lot more other matches we could have talked about, but Chance, where are we at? Are we at an hour?
52 minutes.
See, we're getting good at this.
Yeah, that was easy.
We're getting good at this. But the main thing about it is with me is that I'm glad that we're going to start rolling these in every now and then because that's a big part of me and you both is wrestling. Oh, yeah. Not so much current wrestling, but nostalgic wrestling. Yeah. That's what everybody watched was nostalgia back then. There's so many different directions we could go with wrestling topics in addition to, the movie topics that we do.
We can do specific wrestler, like a Stone Cold episode, a Shawn Michaels. I mean, we got SummerSlams coming up.
You could do SummerSlam matches. You can do breakdowns you could do kind of whatever you want.
I mean, we can do especially for the big pay-per-view, the big 5 pay-per-views. We could do breakdowns of those. I don't know about every pay-per-view, but like the Big Daddies, right. WrestleMania, SummerSlam, Survivor Series, Royal Rumble.
What I would like to do too at some point, and it'll be an extensive episode, would be to do maybe the Hulkamania era.
Oh man,
the run. We would have to condense it, but if we did that run, that could be dope.
Oh yeah,
or just we could pick a year.
Yeah,
and then just kind of break down
the same the Stone Cold year when he took off. It's just Shawn. I'd like one episode just about Shawn Michaels is going to be.
And we'll have to get Chance on that one. That's Chance's favorite.
That's Chance's number one of all time. So Chance is going to be making some appearances on these wrestling episodes. He is a plethora of wrestling knowledge. You see, I had to get the plethora in there.
You definitely did, dude. And the thing about it is, man, is that Teen Wolf's the greatest movie of all time.
I had to get that in too.
I couldn't think of anything to relate to wrestling, so I had to
Chubbs wrestling. Was he on the wrestling team in Teen Wolf? Maybe we'll say he was.
Was he on the wrestling team? Shout out to Mark Holton. But yeah, guys, y'all be sure to hit the comment section up and let us know what you thought of the wrestling episode. Give us ideas for other episodes in the future. We're gonna keep hitting y'all with episodes weekly. I think we're moving to Thursdays. Thursdays seem to work better. We're gonna do Thursdays at 7 p.m. Central for the upload for the.
I think it'll be a lot easier for people to tune because a lot of people like being in the live chats and just talking to. For sure. Maybe not just talking to us, but talking to the other people in the live chat.
No, for sure. So we're gonna do. For right now, we're gonna do Thursdays at 7 p.m. Central. We've been doing Wednesdays at 7 p.m. But y'all stay tuned. We're gonna keep things rolling with that. And salute to Chance. Salute to Revolution One Media. Salute to Nixon Pro Media.
Yep.
And
salute to Trouble Spirits as well. They're going to be coming on board with us here soon and all that stuff.
The sponsor. Shout out to Ryan and Trouble Spirits.
Trouble Spirits is coming on with us. We'll have a little thing for y'all to get with them. Little spray. We appreciate all y'all. The feedback's been amazing. We're having a lot of fun with this. It's been a blast, man.
Yeah, man, we love y'all. We appreciate the support. And y'all be sure to tap in. The link's in the description. Y'all go check us out on Spotify or Apple, whatever audio version y'all like. And be sure to leave a review because those help us out immensely.
Yes, please.
So if y'all would, please hit us up and go ahead and do that for us. But we appreciate it. Again, Chance, thank you. Squizzles, thank you. Anybody that's been helping me and Tony, we really
appreciate
believe
it big
in this
time.
podcast. And we're gonna keep building it. So thank y'all so much. Over the top. Let's get it.
We out this motherfucker.
Starved.